I'm thrilled to be in a room with so many languages, beliefs, thoughts, characters, moods. Today I'm going to talk to you about how some wonderful living creatures in nature actually help us to be smarter connectors. And I'm going to take you to a journey, if you want, that's going to take us from the neurons in your brain to some patterns, or patterns in space, and also in nature. And we're going to start with this. Do you know what that is? Well, this is a neuron. That's easy. Neurons are giving electric impulses throughout your body all the time, continuously. And you've got 100 billions of them in your head. Can you believe that? Now, if you make a count, 100 billions of neurons doing kilometers of connections in your own head every day, every minute, multiplied by all the people in the room, how many connections are there? A lot. So I think that we've got enough here with all the neurons in our head to make incredible connections already. Change thoughts, change boundaries, push ourselves a little bit further. And this neuron is actually called the empathy neuron. Apparently, it dissolves the barrier between yourself and the other. Can you feel the walls melting down now? Okay. This is not an image of a neuron. This is an image of space, that other network outside our heads. Universe. Did you notice how neurons in space actually look quite similar? In fact, didn't you ever think that the universe outside of our heads could be the brain cell of another larger living creatures? So we've got endless options, connections, the ones inside our heads, the one outside our heads. Why don't we do more about it? If you knew that you can just actually create intelligent networks that help you build the future you want, wouldn't you like to do more about it? I think that the future belongs to smart connectors. We've got smart connections possible, but I think we need to do something with it. And I can tell you that now because I can see it in nature. It could be nature. I'm not a biologist. I know nothing about it. That's what I got my notes. Okay. And I grew actually very fond of some specific living creatures that invade space intelligently and also connect resources for a common purpose. And in fact, there are some of these creatures probably under your seat right now. Can you have a look? Let me introduce you to my friend, the slime mold. Slime mold is a single-celled organism. It feeds on decaying vegetation, on fungi, on bacteria, on other slime molds. And it can grow up to 3 square meters, like the 8 seats at the front put together. Scary. It has no brain. It has no nervous system. Yet it can solve so many things with very simple routines, simple little tricks. And in my day job, I meet with a lot of wonderful living creatures, humans. They are fantastic smart connectors. They are women social innovators. They are women who, through social businesses, campaigns, and charities, actually impact positively on people and planet. And by coaching them, I actually realized that they have the same behavior as slime mold. Now, I'm going to do a little test with you and see if the blueprints that I've discovered, again, I'm not a scientist, actually works. So they've got different rules. So the first one is they have strong drivers. So remember, the slime mold driver is just to look for food. And when the food is abundant, slime mold acts as a single-cell organism, and it spreads. When food is in short supply, all the slime molds congregate with each other and start moving as a single body. Okay, there's one lady who does a bit like this. One lady called Naomi Devine, and she's a Canadian environmental activist. And she decided to travel overland, mainly by bike, from Vancouver in Canada to Rio in Brazil to attend the United Nations conference, Rio +20, last June. Making people aware of sustainability was her driver. So she started conversations with people along the way. She united them, she connected them, and she engaged them to find little actions that they could do every day to build a better future. And this is what she said: it's not so much about the 5,000 miles journey stunt with a lot of PR around it. What's very important is figuring out what your inner journey is or should be, and then starting to collect the resources that help you to get out there and start. The other rule that I observed in these two groups is binge stimulation. Now, slime mold thrive in an environment that provide foods for it. How do we do that for real as humans? There is one way to get stimulation is to reach out to networks that are to the fringes of your network. It's easy to say, and the first thing that you would start to do is actually to download the world according to yourself. That doesn't stimulate much, actually. What you need to do, and this is following what the IT geeks actually do. There is a study by Harvard Business Review into open source software communities, and it says, you know, when everybody contributes to one challenge, and they say that actually when you broadcast problems to outsiders, you are getting the most effective solutions. So get stimulated. That's another way to be a smart connector. Sense of connectedness. Now, when slime mold mass is physically separated, it finds its ways to reunite. Now, that's love, isn't it? Being a smart connector is not just about taking and giving. It's about finding a way to pass on and to nurture a common vision. We often sabotage ourselves by we often sabotage our existence by putting ourselves into boxes and silos. In fact, our brain and nature reminds us that we've got everything we need to find out who we are and where we want to go. There is a lady that I took advice from, and she's Angela Davis. She's a political activist, a human rights campaigner. She's been campaigning for the abolition of prison for a while now. And in the 70s, she was, as a member of the Black Panther Party and the Communist Party in the USA, she was labeled as a political terrorist, and she was sent to jail. Her friends and companions managed to spread the message about her and about the campaign globally, and they stood against the state and they asked for her liberation. And when I saw her a few years ago in London, and when she was asked what kept you going all this time, she said, remember, I wasn't the one out there demonstrating on the streets. I was behind bars. What kept me going is knowing that the network was there. What kept me going is the message was there. I knew the message was there. And what kept me going was that sense of connectedness. Now, because I love slime molds, but I'm not a specialist, I had to connect with a guy called Soichiro Tsuda in Japan, as you do on Facebook. He's one of the most prominent specialists of slime molds, which I'm very proud to count as my Facebook friends. And not knowing if he would talk to me about stories that I could understand, but I say, okay, Soichiro, I need to make a comparison between women social innovators and slime molds. Can you help me there? And can you find courage in slime mold, because that would help my talk? And he said, well, he said something like, slime mold has the capacity to remember the obstacles that stressed it. So for instance, slime mold dislikes salt. It's good to know when you've got mold on your windows. Slime mold dislikes salt, and when if they find an area with salts, they really go out of their way to escape, basically. However, sometimes there are areas with a lot of salts, and there is absolutely no way out, and I've explored all the areas. there's no way out. Some slime mold find the courage to explore and to spot a safe area on the other side, and they're going to migrate above the salty wall to that area that's safe. That's a bit of an anthropomorphic comparison there. But it says, so she says, only some brave and courageous slime mold actually do it. Now, you probably heard in the news this week about Malala Yousafzai in Pakistan. Now, she had the guts and the courage to encourage women and girls like her to get educated, to learn how to read. And she said, I don't care if I had to sit down on the floor. All I want is an education, and I'm afraid of no one. I think it's time for us to think twice before we just wear things. You know, we need to let the positive maverick out of ourselves and let it talk. Can we pledge that? Can we do something when we get out of this room? So imagine right now, let's do a little exercise, that you have 200% more courage than you usually have. What does it enable you to do? What kind of salty area does it enable you to cross? Do you know who made your pants? I do. I don't know about yours, but I know about mine. There is one company in south of Britain that makes pants out of upcycled, discarded lace from the underwear industry. And I know, when I buy them, I know exactly, with a little date, and I go on the computer and I know exactly who made them. And these are refugee women who gain economic independence by learning a new skill and selling these pants. The company is called Who Made Your Pants? And this is great, I swear by them. And I get joy by just knowing a little bit more about that supply chain. And this is a smart connection. You can do exactly the same as slime mold by invading communities and businesses with smart resources, smart ways, smarter connections. So to get your smart connector visa, remember, you need to find a good driver, to grow stimulation, and to embrace courage and joy. Thank you very much.